Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and something has happened at Hearthstone that we haven't seen in quite some time, where I think it's been at least like half a year, maybe more. And honestly, it's a really good thing. It's a cool thing. We're gonna get into it. And it even regards both standard and wild, which is pretty awesome as well. Before we get into what exactly I'm talking about, I just want to give a friendly reminder. If you feel like I've earned your subscription, you want to help support the channel, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like. It helps us out a ton. So there's a reason I'm on the front page of HS Replay, because there's an actual image here we haven't seen in a long time. Across all ranks, again, not the best indicator, we always say, but there's more to go with it. We'll take a look at some higher ranks and all of that. But if you take a look at the front page of HS Replay, not only is Paladin not #1 for the first time, and I don't know when the last time it wasn't #1, when Deathlight I think was #1, when it was like really broken with the location. The last mini set, not this mini set, but the one before. But regardless, Paladin always seems to be on top, but it's not right now. But what you can see, we have 6 classes. Over half of the Hearthstone classes in the game have a positive win rate of over 50%. And even below that, Druid, which was dead last just a couple of weeks ago, is near 50%. Demon Hunter, which got nerfed a bunch, is still close to 50%, with only Warlock, Mage, and Rogue significantly worse, but even then, they're not like the Warrior levels of like minus 40%, and none of these classes have unplayable decks. Every class is playable right now, which is really something you don't see very often, which is really cool. And even if you take a look at Wild is a similar breakdown. Paladin is #1 in Wild, mostly due to Mech Paladin and Questline Druid keeping Druid #2, but again, 6 classes 50% or more, 8 classes 49% or higher, with only Warrior being dead last, and pretty much every class playable in Wild as well. It's way more aggressive, the metagame is totally different, but you can play a myriad of classes there. And I'll just show what bad balance looks like. You take a look at the arena, 5 classes 50% or more, but you got Warlock and Druid sub 40%. Where are the micro adjustments? They seem to stop doing that for the arena. I don't know, really weird, but arena, you really want to get Major Shaman or one of these classes, or you're pretty screwed, and also avoid the super draft like bot accounts. But that's a video we talked about another day. But looking at the Hearthstone meta, taking a look at top 1000, the last 3 days, basically since the balance patch, and you can see tier 1, even at high ranks, we have 6 decks with Shaman, Priest, Warrior, Deathlight, Rogue, and Demon Hunter. That's exactly what I mean, by the way. That Rogue, even though it's dead last, has a top tier deck. People just don't like to play it that much, especially at lower ranks, and it's not the easiest deck in the world to play. But yes, Miracle Rogue is still utterly broken with the location and all that mana cheat, Shadow Step, blah, blah, blah. If you watched my stream last night, I was not happy with the loss I received from Rogue. But regardless, you can see 6 different classes, or at least early on, right? That will definitely not last. It never does as decks get further refined. And you can even see there's a new frontrunner like Evolved Shaman, which looks like it's probably a legit deck. Glory tweeted this out, hitting top 25 with it, former world champion. And you know, we got new decks still popping up with the new mini set weapon, the taunts. It's really cool, you know? I don't know if this deck is legit. I thought about recommending it in my deck recommendation video yesterday, but you could check out Glory on Twitter. Maybe I'll put this deck code in the description below if you want to try it out. But Evolved Shaman may be a real deck. The numbers, the only reason, again, I didn't want to really recommend it. The numbers have shot up 4,700 games. Maybe it is pretty darn good. But even you look at tier 2. Tier 2, we have even more. Pure Paladin, another Demon Hunter, Deathlight, Shaman, Totem Shaman, Control Priest, Secret Rogue up there. And of course, the deck I've mentioned a lot, Thoughty's Druid. And this is at top 1000 Legend, where people are trying to play the best stuff, the best. And you can see the meta has quite a bit going on for it. The main classes missing that you're looking for here is probably, I believe, Hunter, Warlock, and Mage. And you can find Hunter and Mage right below in tier 3, with Warlock being here. I think Hound Hunter, it's it's more of a high legend thing. You go down, let's say diamond through legend, you're gonna find Hound Hunter and Face Hunter and stuff doing a little bit better. But in terms of class representation, this is one of the most diverse metas we have seen in quite some time. Again, as things get refined from, you know, the latest nerfs and all that, it'll change. Also, we're going to have an expansion announcement likely in a few weeks, and there'll be a free legendary to come along with it. Last time this year, it was Renethal. Prince Renethal be ousted, so that could always change it up. But I have to give kudos to the team. At least a lot of the classes are playable, where that wasn't always the case. Now, is the meta good? Is the meta actually fun? You take a look at these decks, you could argue, you know, evolved decks typically never the most fun to face in Hearthstone. Very scammy, high roll. I'd say Miracle Rogue, I can never stand facing it. Very scammy, high roll. Relic Demon Hunter, pretty similar in that regard. I'd say Control Priest is never that fun to face as well. Thaddeus Druid in particular, I know I'm a broken record with it. When it comes to Death Blossom Whomper is pretty ridiculous, pretty gross, but I will say, there's a lot of decks here that I consider to be relatively healthy on Rage Warrior, although it could murder you from in hand and does a lot of I mean, every good deck in Hearthstone does broken stuff, but I face on Rage Warrior, I'm not that upset. On Holy Deathlight, I've never really mind facing it personally. Pure Paladin, as long as it's not overtuned, I don't have an issue with the board-based deck. Frosty K, Outcast Totems. A lot of these decks, I really don't mind. Hound Hunter, I can't stand Secrets, of course, with Secret Mage, but there's a lot of different decks, whether it's mid-range, aggro, just not really that much combo, which I think is probably for the best most of the time. I'll say, I've been having more fun playing Standard than I have in a long time, and do I love it right now? Probably not, but it's definitely my mode of choice. If you look at like card inclusions in all the decks, Astalor, still at 47% of decks, which I still think is utterly ridiculous. This card hasn't been adjusted since its first adjustments, considering Prince Renethal died for a lot less, but at the same time, Prince Renethal is like the 6th most popular card in the game, so are they really that wrong with the nerf? Probably not, but the bias in me wants to say yes. No other neutral really hits too hard. Like Nerubian Vizier at one point was over 40%, School Teacher was over 40%, but now that Deathlight's not like every class you face, it's dropped a lot. Pozic is around 17%, still performing incredibly well despite losing its one attack. But it's just really cool to see, and you gotta say, it feels like the pattern in Hearthstone these days is an expansion comes out, it's a broken mess, we get the first balance patch, it gets pretty close, then we get the mini set, it's a broken mess, then we get another patch, it's pretty close, and then we get the next content drop and everything goes to absolute hell. That we never get these metas for very long, right? The playable metas where a bunch of classes are playable, some of the new archetypes are playable. And for me in particular, I thought Audiopocalypse came down, I tweeted out, as like one of the most impactful mini sets we've seen in a long time. That Festival Legends just never felt complete without it. You almost wish these cards launched day one and things would be a lot more interesting. And it really does go to that argument of, are mini sets good for the game? You know, they give us new content, but they always seem to disrupt, and the balance testing or whatever, the play testing is never effective enough to lead to metas that feel decent, that feel fun until well after the balance changes. So right now, I have to say, it's one of the better metas I've seen in a long time, at least personally. There's a lot of decks, of course, that piss me off. I still get a rant, rave, get mad when I play, but the thing is, I play, and I'm not minding it, and normally I just hide in the arena, hide in duels. Right now, I've been playing a lot of Standard, even a little bit off stream, which I haven't done like since probably before like United and Stormwind. Like, it's been a long time, so I gotta say, I gotta recommend playing Hearthstone at the moment. If you haven't played, give Ladder a shot, especially deck like Hound Hunter that runs this really sweet card, is super fun, pretty effective, and you got cool decks like Skeleton Mage, which are also toxic, not very good, but tons of different decks to try out. And I know I'm a little bit rambly, but hey, fun, you know, we're very critical on the channel a lot of the time, and I gotta praise when things are kind of going well. And I think things are going pretty well until, you know, the next content drop ruins everything, as it always does. Anyways, let me know how you feel about Hearthstone these days. Standard, Wild, you enjoying the meta, hating the meta? Do you like that, you know, most classes are playable outside of, well, basically feels like Warlock seems like the roughest. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.